Welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Bill Littauer.
And sitting in for Roger Norum, I'm Randi Norum. And these are some of the stories coming up. The improvement of Westchester County Airport. O'Rourke approves a referendum. Mamaroneck Village opposes the renovation, but won't put up any money to fight it.
Mamaroneck Village Democrats have put a cap on the amount taxpayers will pay for their legal expenses.
We'll have a report on our community's Earth Day activities and the latest from our schools.
We'll also tell you about a daycare program at the Hommocks school and a workshop for senior citizens. But first, our top story. The Mamaroneck Village Board has decided to oppose the proposed improvements to the Westchester County Airport. County Executive Andrew O'Rourke is going along with a referendum on the plan for a new terminal. The Village Board says it hopes O'Rourke will reconsider the size and scope of the project, but it won't put up any money to fight it.
Monday was the deadline for the Village of Mamaroneck to approve a new budget. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Alice Bloom talked with newly elected Democratic Village trustee Kate Weingarten about the budget. A member of the Capital Budget Committee last year, she was an outspoken critic of the village spending habits.
Kate, April 30th is coming quickly, and we've got to adopt a budget. What's the ad hoc budget committee had for you so far? The ad hoc budget committee reported to the board on Monday night and essentially said that we are in a tax crisis in the village, that we can no longer do business as usual, and that we must go line by line through the budget and establish at a maximum that no more is spent by each department than was in 1991 than was spent in 1990. They are not through with their work yet. It is extremely difficult in a short period of time to assemble all the data that they really need, but they've been working very hard talking to department heads. They feel, for instance, that in certain areas, just simply rethinking proposals has made dollars and cents difference. There was a plan in the highway department where projected capital expenditure on second review was brought down from $30-some-odd thousand to $6,000. And we feel that there are areas like that in the budget. We are going to be meeting again tonight to go line by line through 900 accounts in the budget to try to bring our tax increase down 2, 3, or maybe even 4%. I'm convinced we can do it. But the other thing that seems very clear to me is that we must establish a standing budget committee in the village who has more than 2 or 3 weeks to operate. This group has worked very hard and very diligently, but there simply has not been enough time. And we will establish sometime in the near future an operating and a capital budget committee who will work during the year with the department heads and the village manager and the clerk treasurer to make our 92 budget a more responsive document. Good luck, Kate. You've got a long week ahead of you.
Alice Bloom with Mamaroneck Village trustee Kate Weingarten.
Mamaroneck Village Democrats are sticking by their decision to have the taxpayers foot the bill for their legal fees, but they have set a $5,000 limit. The Democratic trustees are being sued by Mayor Paul Noto and Village Attorney James Noletti over their decision to abolish the positions of village attorney and prosecutor.
There were meetings last week on the controversial David's Island project. They were held at Albert Leonard Junior High School in New Rochelle. Larchmont Village trustee John Berry went to find out what's happening and talked about the latest development with Roger Norum.
The latest go-round on David's Island, just what is happening?
Well, the 2 days of hearings that were held earlier this week on Monday and Tuesday, the Department of State and the Environmental Department listened to both sides, and those of us who opposed it, I think, came out extremely well. We had as the paper said, an overwhelming number of people spoke out against the David's Island project, and those who spoke out against it, the majority of them were from New Rochelle itself, so I thought that was a pretty impressive showing. The village of Larchmont has an attorney, along with shares the expense of the attorney with Mamaroneck, to represent our views, which is the village's view, which is that it opposes the island development as it now stands, this massive thing that they're planning to throw up there. I myself am going beyond that, and I'm very interested and very active in a group called Save David's Island for the Citizens, and we are committed to oppose this development as it now stands right to the end and into the courts. And we have a leading environmental attorney, Burley Cass and Cates, representing us, and they were at the meeting the other day.
At the moment, though, it's now, as I understand it, in the hands of the state or the county or both?
Yes, well, it's in the hand of the state and county authorities to decide on the building, the environmental impact of the building, the fact that the bridge, which has a span longer than the Brooklyn Bridge by 10 feet 6 inches, goes into a public park and will ruin that park, whether that should be allowed to happen. And that's what has to be decided over the next several months.
Roger Norum and John Barry on the David's Island project.
Now here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Schools reporter Monique Citron.
The Rhinex Special Ed program was under fire this week by the State Education Department for 56 issues of noncompliance. Today, we asked Dr. Francine Farber, director of the program, what happened?
Every 3 years, the State Education Department is supposed to come down and inspect special education programs in school districts because special education is so complex and the rules and regulations change a great deal. And they came down to Rhineck after almost 5 years. The last compliance review was in 1985, so this one was really long overdue. And they did find that there were 56 issues in which we were in non-compliance. Many of them are of the paperwork technical variety, and as a matter of fact, 47 of the 56 issues have already been addressed, and that the paperwork has been sent to the State Education Department, and they are now reviewing it, hopefully pending approval.
I understand about the paperwork not being significant, but what about some of the more substantive issues that they brought up?
It is true that there are some substantive issues, and of course we are addressing those because it's an opportunity for us to improve what we're doing and to offer even better services for the students in Rhineck. As a matter of fact, though, the state did acknowledge that our special education programs are of an excellent quality, and they also commended us for the wealth of supplies, materials, and computer instructional work in special education.
I appreciate your coming down, Dr. Farber, and sharing this with us. LMC-TV will be continuing to cover this story and looking into it, even as you continue your reorganization of the special ed program. We understand this is the tip of the iceberg, and we'd like to look at it with you. And we appreciate your forthrightness in speaking to us today. On a lighter note, where can you find games and prizes, food and fun?
The Larchmont Mamaroneck Interfaith Council is sponsoring a conference on aging. This will be held on Sunday, May 6th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Larchmont Temple. The public is invited and the admission is free. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Rita Blockton interviewed Colleen Kluss, who is co-chairman of the conference, along with Sandy Feldman.
Carlene, tell me about the program on Sunday.
Well, we're very excited about it because we have identified a concern and a need within our community, and that has to do with the aging. So we've developed a conference called Aging, Facing It Together. We'll be starting at 3 o'clock on Sunday, May 6th at the Larchmont Temple with the Rye Youth Players. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they perform within the Sound Shore area. They will be dramatizing various aspects of aging, and then we'll be moving to workshops. We have 4 topic areas. The first one is Alzheimer's disease. We're also having a workshop on housing, intergeneration relations, and the physical aspects of aging. Each workshop will be led by 2 experts in those fields, and we're very excited about the list of experts we were able to obtain.
Where would they call if they want to?
If they'd like to call for more information, they can call the Larchmont Temple where the conference will be held. But please, we welcome all and sundry who can come from 3 to 6 on Sunday, May 6th.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rita.
And now here's our Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News real estate reporter Deborah Dorn with some tips on buying and selling homes.
Charlie Miller has been a very reputable construction supervisor in our area for the past 15 years. In the 60s, his firm was hired by the Union Free School District, and Mr. Miller was the architect's representative for both the Hommocks and the Central School. In addition, he was also the chief consultant for the Time Life book series called The Old House. Through his years of experience, he has probably seen everything that could go wrong in a home. When it's your turn to sell, your buyer will most likely bring in a home inspector and find things wrong. You might want to take some precautions. I asked him the 5 problems he most often sees that a homeowner could take care of in advance.
The most important 5 things you can do is to keep your house in apple pie order, especially at the time of an inspector's examination. Get rid of all the debris in the basement and attics and on the property so that the inspector does not have to climb over everything to see what is necessary. 2, The roof and gutters and downspouts should all be in good condition, and this should be done by a roofer if necessary, so that there's no indication of any roof leaks. 3, the plumbing and heating and electrical work should all be in good working order. Replace all burned out light bulbs, be sure your thermostat works, and that the filters in the furnace are clean and have everything in good condition. Also, the site should be neat and orderly. Get rid of all dead wood around the house and cut the grass and make the house very presentable. I think those are the important things for selling a house.
Shelley Levin runs the daycare program at the Hommocks school. We dropped by during the week for a visit.
Shelley, I was so impressed with the daycare center at the Hommocks. I couldn't believe my eyes. For some reason, when I thought of daycare, I thought of, I don't know, sort of just kids sitting around. I don't know what I thought. I was so impressed with all the activities and the excitement that was going on. Tell me a little bit more about what you do.
Okay, a lot of people have that misconception. Because it's called daycare, doesn't mean anything other than that's a heading, and we're organized under the Department of Social Services. But really what we do is try to provide the children with a really fun-filled day. We're very busy from the time they get there until the time they leave. The children choose between active and quiet activities, between structured and unstructured activities. So they might do cooking and crafts one day and science experiments the next. There are a host of things for them to choose from and many things going on at one time. The other thing we try to do is have some homework help for them. We have board games for them to play. They might do, this week it was tie-dyeing, as a matter of fact. So everybody brought in a shirt to tie-dye. Every day they choose from many different activities.
I can only say that it is a fabulous, fabulous program, and I'm so impressed. You've done a sensational job.
What glorious weather we had on Earth Day 2 Sundays ago. Thousands of people all over the world celebrated the 20th anniversary of this day, on which we paused to consider how each of us can make our environment more habitable. Several hundred people of all ages turned out at our Larchmont Reservoir Conservancy, causing traffic tie-ups along Weaver Street. Booths were set up along the driveway of the reservoir property by the various conservation groups active in the area, such as the Life Center, the Conservation Advisory Commission, a group to save David's Island, someone displaying cloth diapers, local hiking groups, toxic waste awareness, and a puppet show on recycling. There were places to do T-shirt painting and to buy raffle tickets. There was also continuous live music. Sandy Feldman and Michael Scheffler coordinated all the activities. Our thanks to Bruce Weiner and Alice Modell for the video and the story.
The town of Mamaroneck has been honored for its recycling activity. The county has given the town of Mamaroneck the top award for recycling the most aluminum of any municipality in the county, regardless of size.
The Hope and Anchor is a new restaurant in Larchmont. It's located on Chatsworth Avenue at Depot Way. Our LMC-TV restaurant reporter Sonny Goldberg checked it out.
Hi, I'm Sonny Goldberg, LMC restaurant reporter, here today at Hope and Anchor. It's a restaurant located on Chatsworth Avenue, and it's very exciting because they've only been here for 1 year and they have done all kinds of innovative things. It's my pleasure to be sitting here with Kay and Michael Doherty, who are the owners and chefs of the restaurant.
Thank you.
I've been here both for lunch and dinner, and it's absolutely divine, and I'd like you to tell people a little bit about your philosophy of what kind of food you have here.
We call this modern American cooking. It's a wide variety of things, all different kinds of influences. We've lived around different parts of the United States, in Texas, Wisconsin, Colorado. We met at a restaurant in Boston, and now we're here in Larchmont, and this is what we're doing.
If someone were to ask you what your best dishes are, give me a quick rundown on that.
I love the duck confit, which is on the dinner menu. The shrimp linguine is on the lunch and the dinner menu. Those are probably my two favorite.
Now you've got terrific bread. What's it, 5 colors? Or?
5-color bread.
Yeah.
It's spinach, red pepper, pumpernickel, wheat bread, and oat bread. That's right here on the sandwich.
Uh-huh.
And also on the smoked trout plate, we use that.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, and thank you for chatting with us. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
And that's our report for this week. Remember, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News is a volunteer effort by your friends and neighbors. We'd love to have you join us. It's a good way to learn about journalism and how a television newscast is put together. and at the same time cover the news of your community. I'm Bill Littauer.
And sitting in for Roger Norum, I'm Randi Norum. Why not drop by next Thursday evening about 7 o'clock while we're working on our next week's program? We're in the LMC studio at the Palmer Avenue end of Mamaroneck High School. And we'll see you again next week here on LMC Channel 36.